Hey, what's up, Victor? I just saw your post in the Academy, and I'm going to make this quick video for you. Easier for me to talk through it. It takes me like half a day to write an email because I'll end up rereading it 1,000 times, rewording it, and all that kind of stuff. So, and I hope this helps other people in the group. So I saw your post, and it's a great question. That's why I wanted to take the time out to make this video. So Victor, for those of you who didn't see Victor's post, the question was like, hey, thanks for the material on, talking to motivated sellers. Totally makes sense. But a lot of the people that we talk to out there are not motivated. And how do we deal with those people? What do we say? What about those situations? So like, there's a lot to unbox here. But I'm going to go for it. So number one, and I'm going to go through a couple of phases here. This is going to take about 10 or 15 minutes on my way home to deliver my wife Starbucks. Number one, who are we in the business to do business with? It's motivated sellers, right? It's someone who has some type of motivation, because if they're not, no one's going to, if there's not an additional problem besides the money that we can solve, no one's going to do business with us. So if we want to buy houses at discounts, there needs to be some type of motivation. So I think that's a given. There has to be motivation for people to do business with us. So, and there's tons of different motivations. So here's the next part of this conversation. A lot of people who come at us as being not motivated are actually motivated. What a top salesperson does, what our job is to really figure out what kind of person it is we're talking to, because there's probably, let's say 2 or 3 groups, and here's what they are. There's going to be the motivated sellers that let us know they're motivated. They're going to be open. It's like they're going to tell us about their situation, and we can just say, okay, I know what to do with this one. I'm going to, this is a motivated seller. It's obvious that they're motivated. And then there's going to be some motivated sellers, but they're not going to look or sound or act motivated. And we're going to have to find a way to figure out, is there motivation in there? So really, let's say we've got the motivated sellers that we know are motivated. And then the second type is we've got sellers who look unmotivated. Now, underneath that, they could be motivated, they might not be. So what we need to figure out how to do is, how do I figure out all the, motivated, know what to do with them? They look non-motivated. How do I really dig in and figure out, is there any deeply hidden motivation that I can magnify and turn them into a motivated seller? Or how do I dig in deep, make sure I turn over every stone and figure out this is not a motivated seller? I need to disqualify them. Anything I do, no matter how hard I work this deal, they're never going to do business with me. Let's disqualify them. Maybe put them in a follow-up funnel in case something changes or time makes them motivated or something like that. So I'm just kind of putting my thoughts together as I ramble on. So we can only do business with motivated sellers. And some of them come to us. We know they're motivated. Others of them come to us. They look non-motivated. All the signs say not motivated, but the truth of the matter is some are going to be motivated. There's hidden motivation and some aren't. And we got to figure out how to differentiate between the two. So I hope you're following with me so far. So next step is, how do we do that? How do we dig in deep? And the tools you want to look for in the training, Victor, are going to be these tools. Number one, you're going to want to go over the overcoming resistance, because a lot of the motivation you're not going to be able to get to, because they're going to be one-word answers. They're not going to answer questions at all. They're going to be very standoffish. So overcoming resistance is how you get past that and you get into the right conversation. And then I'm going to talk in just a second about how to have the right conversation. So overcoming resistance, we're going to need to go negative. We're going to need to use empathy. Basically that's it. Go negative the whole time. We're going to have to start drawing back. And what you'll see is probably, I'm guessing, somewhere between 50 and 75% of the time, those people who seem not motivated won't let you disqualify them, right? If you gently tug backwards and do it the right way, toss out some pain points and then pull back, toss out some pain points, but that probably doesn't interest you. Toss out some pain points, but it doesn't sound like that's an issue with you. That's how we do it, right? You're going to find that people are going to start pushing back. And there is some motivation, because chances are, no matter how you're marketing, if you're doing PPC, if you're doing mailers, if you're doing cold calling, that lead is in front of you because there's some motivation. So chances are you're talking to tons of people who you think aren't motivated, but really are, or else you wouldn't be talking to them, right? Because the people who respond to all the types of marketing that investors do, that is one sign that there is some motivation. No matter how big or small it is, hidden or on the surface, there is some type of motivation there, right? I think we can also agree with that. If they've responded, there's some type of motivation. Might be small, might be deeply hidden, but it's there, right? For the most part. Okay, cool. So we go negative, we toss out pain points and we go negative. Hey, we just, we help people who need a deal, sell quickly. Sounds like that's not your situation. We help people who have maybe kind of a not so much of a traditional situation where they might want to move faster or slower, or not have to deal with this or not have to deal with that, or how, figure out this legal stuff, but it doesn't sound like that's the situation with you. Maybe I can't help you. That's the type of stuff, right? Throw out those pain points while pulling back gently, going negative. Now, once we do, if we're still looking for, or we need to uncover what is that deeply hidden piece of motivation, then we're going to want to try a couple of things, right? One good question to start pulling that out is, a why question, and if you ever did type of question. So we don't want to assume motivation, right? We want to keep it nice and easy and light, and then it's just something like, hey, listen, let me ask you this. Obviously, it's not a high priority right now. You don't absolutely need to sell. I totally get that. But if you did decide to sell your house to me, to, sell it traditionally, do it this month, do it this year, do it next year. If you ever did decide, hey, I'm going to sell, why would you? And that's going to be your doorway into whatever their motivation is, no matter how big or small. So, well, if I could find a little bit of a nicer place, then we're going to start drilling down on that with the impact questions, right? When you say nicer place, what do you mean? Well, what's going on? Well, how long have you dealt with that? Well, what's that like? Is that really a big deal, or is that a little deal? What's going on? What's that like? Anything else? Anything else you change? So that's how we start digging in deeper at that point. So go negative, toss out the pain points, pull back, go negative, start to open that up so it's open, honest conversation, right? And then start with the why question to find any deeply hidden piece of motivation. Now, a guy named Dr. Michael Pantalone wrote a fantastic book on just this topic, finding that little bit of motivation and magnifying it. I'm trying to remember the name of his book. Guys, if you know the book I'm talking about, please put it in the comments section. It's Dr. Michael Pantalone. It's he was an emergency room doctor. He solved a problem. He learned how to take drug addicts and alcoholics and change their lives around with a short line of questions. The questions that he asked were instant influence, is what it's called. We're pointed at finding that little piece of motivation. Not why wouldn't you change, but why would you? Hey, if you ever did decide to make some type of change, big or small, now or later, why would you? And that's what we're looking for, right? If you ever did decide to take action, why would you? And then we're drilling in on that. What's that like right now? What's the personal impact? And then what's your picture perfect? And if you live that picture perfect, how big of a difference would that be? Is that even worth something looking at? And that's how we start to build the gap. So, Victor, I hope that answers your question. So if you're having trouble with unmotivated sellers, which is really the people we want to target because we know what to do with the motivated sellers, is use our lesson on overcoming resistance. There's 2 lessons there. Watch them both in our previous, just any of the previously recorded live webinars. And then get back into, look for anything I have out there on instant influence. Might also want to pick up the book or watch some interviews with Dr. Pantalone. I believe you spell his name Panthalone. Wrote the book Instant Influence. The guy's like a legend in the medical field. Every trauma center and ER across the country uses his stuff when dealing with people that we need to influence to change quickly. So guys, I hope that helps. Victor, I hope that helps. If you have a follow-up question, post it on here and I'll try to do another video or something, but I'm hoping that points you in the right direction. That is something we deal with every day. We covered extensively in the academy. I did a poor job kind of pointing people in the right direction for that content. So I hope that helps. See you guys.